So welcome to part two. Welcome Lauren Faby, award-winning marketing professional, founder of LF Consulting, helping companies of all sizes communicate effectively with clients and prospects. Lauren is also the host of the Beach Boss podcast and contributor to the Accidentally on Purpose project. Lauren here today is talking about employee retention and client happiness. So it is so nice to have Lauren on board. Welcome to part two. Now for my question for part two, this drives me so crazy when people ask me this question. How can companies, entrepreneurs better turn the conversation over to what the prospect needs instead of just focusing on making the sale? I can't tell you how many people come up to me and go, how can I help you? If you need to ask that question, you need to dive in deeper to what my wants and needs are, and not just, I do this, so how can I help you? What does the client or prospect need? What do they need right here, right now? Because if I needed help, I would have Googled it. I would have looked for someone and searched for someone and already had someone in that position. So how can you coming in do it better than what I already have? Now, Lauren, what are your 2 cents on this? I know you have some.
Well, first of all, I hate people that are like textbook salespeople. I mean, I wish they had like a shock collar around me because it never works with me, at least. Yeah. And I really just, gives me the creeps. But I mean, I think that if people are targeting prospects and they want to make a sale, I mean, what they should do is watch them. What are they doing online? What are they doing? You know, who's in their organization? Who are their clients? Be educated on, first of all, you know what I always look at? Go in the careers tab at the bottom of a company. Are they hiring? If they're hiring, they're growing. You know, I mean, what types of jobs do they have open? How can what you offer maybe affect that? I mean, I'm a consultant, people don't always have to hire another person. They can hire me. You know what I mean? So if I come in knowing that they are in need of 5 IT project managers and I have an outsourced IT company, I'm going to come in knowing that, because that's a real, those are things that salespeople and marketing people need to come to the table with, and not bother people. It's not the prospect's job to tell you what you should already know.
Not at all. Not at all. If the prospect has to do work, you've already lost. That's right. And it's not easy and simple. Absolutely.
The other thing is I really like to network with people. I love to be I have a whole sort of dossier on how to go to conferences without buying the conference pass. Conference people don't put a hit out on me, but I have a whole sort of like MO for startups and people who want to go to conferences but not pay $5,000 to do it, because there are ways that you can provide value.
Can you share us any of those ways, or do you charge for that?
Well, I'll give you a snippet. I'll give you a small snippet because I don't want to give away all of my playbook.
Yeah.
But so here's a little quick tip. Look at the conference schedule and host a happy hour during a time when nothing's scheduled. Pick a spot in the hotel or a spot in wherever you are, and go to the bar manager and I did this. Okay, this is a tried and true thing. Okay, so I did this just last September. I had a client that had a $3,000 budget, and for $1,300, we executed a happy hour that I think they had between 30 and 40 attendees, unique company attendees.
Wow.
So, and what we did was we just did a LinkedIn message campaign saying, hey, if you come by, we'll have one free drink, and your host is so-and-so from XYZ company, and you don't have to buy anything, you don't have to listen to anything. And I think my little happy hour got quite a bit of pipeline created that way.
Good for you.
Now, full disclosure, I signed up for the conference this year, so they are making money off of me. And by the way, I cleared it with the conference.
Okay.
And I said, look, do you have any problem with us hosting this happy hour? You should have charged a sponsorship for this, but you didn't.
Yeah.
And do you have any problem? They said, no, absolutely not. Can we invite some of our top people? And I said, great.
Yes.
And now those people that if you don't ask, you'll never get a yes. You might get a lot of no's, but you need to ask.
Yeah.
So people that have a small budget don't need to be afraid about playing with the big guys. They just need to strategically plan things out and do it honestly.
Yeah.
You don't need to hide about it. And if the conference had said no, I would have said, fine, no problem. I'll tell my client that they need to save their money and they'll be here next year, whatever.
Yeah.
But I saw a lot of value in it, so I'm actually going back with my own company, to go to some of the sessions because I would have liked to have heard them.
You mentioned something, which is getting over the mindset as a little company, as a little entrepreneur, and being able to say, hey, I can actually stand up, I can play with the big guys. Do you have any tips when it comes to mindset work? Because that's mainly what I do with confidence and authenticity.
Sure. First of all, I'm a big believer in mentors.
Yes.
I think 100%. That if there are people that are doing amazing things, and, find someone that you can sort of emulate their style or, pick a few things that they've done and try them out yourself. I mean, I do believe also that there's a real value to, like the smaller shops where when I was marketing the cloud-based accounting offering, our big thing was, hey, look, you could use XYZ company that's got, 50 servers in 10 states and has all these big name, big six clients, or you can use us and you're going to get us 24/7. And because you're only one of 3 clients, we are never going to lose you. We're going to do everything to treat you like you're our most important person because you are. You're what's keeping the lights on.
That's amazing.
And so I think that you don't, we live in this Instagram perfect, Pinterest perfect society. Yeah. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs, startups, well, first of all, people that are involved with startups are usually pretty badass. I like them. They have a lot of chutzpah. But I think that it's super important to remember that everybody started out with one client. Yeah. I mean, nobody opened their business with 50 clients banging at their door. I mean, that's stupid. But I think that if you look online and the way everyone portrays their perfect, their perfect conference that they put on, or their perfect, they paid $10,000 to get featured into an advertising section of your local magazine. They've paid for that. Nobody voted them that, I mean, so I think that it's okay. And I think to, create some of your own buzz. I think that, interviewing some of your clients and putting what they have to say about you is super fulfilling. And I think that if you truly are doing a good job, people are happy and more than happy to help you with, giving you a testimonial or, I have a few testimonials on my site and I was nervous. I've been in this for a while and I was nervous to ask. I mean, a couple of them are big companies and they said, of course we'll help you. Of course we'll put that on your website. And I said, that's great. Thank you.
And she has testimonials from really big people. These aren't like small guys. Like,
well, thank you.
I mean, it's true. This is big people. Definitely, and I'll give a shout out to her website at the end of this video.
Thank you.
Can you give us an example of how you helped a company build a better level of trust and communication among their employees?
Sure.
We spoke about that a little bit before, but giving an example would, I believe, really help.
Sure. So one of the things that that we did, and I'll use the example of the wellness program since you can sort of take what I said before and you have a little bit more background and it won't take as long to explain it. So what we did was we took all of those people that had been sort of identified to be champions of the wellness program, and we brought them off-site and did a workshop. First of all, we made them feel like they were worthy of being there. Everyone was there because the company believed in them, which was number one. So the president of the company, president, CEO of the company, got up in front and said, "You are here because your manager recommended that you be here. We believe in you. You're the future of our organization. We need your help. We truly need your help." And then what we did was we gave them their wellness people. I mean, I only handled sort of the communication aspect and the program part of it, but they had a lot of internal initiatives they were working on. So they sat around at these tables made up of people from all different jobs, people from, upper management, not in management, mid-management, whatever, men, women, old, young, whatever. And they sat and worked on these 5 to 10 questions about how to move this initiative forward. And then they each gave a little presentation at the end. Each table gave a little presentation at the end. And then what they did was they took those results and they implemented them immediately.
Wow.
And one of the things I feel that's super important is you don't just include people in your initiatives or your goals or whatever and then drop it like a hot potato.
Yeah.
And not follow up with them and say, "Hey, look, we wanted to grow our healthcare business by 10% this quarter and 20% in the second quarter. And guess what, guys, we did it." Or, you want to make sure that they know that they've achieved their goals and that they're part of it. Rather than like at the end of the year in December, having someone mention it and not give any credit to all those people that move the needle. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's super important that if you're going to communicate, you do it often and well. And that's what I help companies do. So it takes planning because as you know, as everyone listening knows, I mean, I have things on a to-do list that just keep getting moved to the next day, to the next day, to the next day, to the next day. But at least I have a list.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? At least it's planned out. I know what my top 3 things are to do every single day. I know that if I haven't talked to this client or that I haven't shared this post or whatever in a week, that's when the warning signs go off in my plan that I'm going to get off track. And there's a cadence to successful communication, and that's with anything, employees, clients, prospects.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's beautiful. And how can companies easily mediate circumstances in order to deflate emotions, attitudes, ego during a stressful team conversation?
Ooh.
This one is a big one.
Oh, so I am not a psychologist, nor do I play one on Facebook Live. But
I know you know how to do this, though.
I do.
You
but
know how to do this.
I will tell you that I really do feel that open lines of communication are essential and not just in theory. I can't preach it enough that, and I have a whole program for remote employees because remote employees are a whole different ballgame where, I was a remote employee for years and I would find out there was a Christmas party and then and no one invited me. And then all of a sudden I was mad. during all of our meetings. And, you know, I sort of had an attitude about it. So I think that structured check-ins, structured communication, open lines of communication, team meetings, but not meetings for the sake of meetings. I mean, I'm a big believer in the 15-minute meeting.
Yeah.
And I start my meetings on time and I end my meetings on time because I don't want anybody taking advantage of my time, nor do I want to take advantage of other people's. But I really, really, really think it's important that people feel like they can speak openly and they know what the lines of communication are on a project. Whether it's an HR issue, whether it's just, you know, in their department, you know, what are the appropriate lines of communication? How are initiatives and goals and projects being assigned? How is the communication of that coming down the chain? You know, so that like rumors, innuendo don't start because it's often too late. You know, if someone's looking for a job, you've lost them.
Yeah.
I do really, and I was going to say something else. I feel like, especially with management that may feel threatened about giving their direct reports the authority to sort of, you know, have a more open dialogue with them. I mean, a lot of managers are really good at their specific job, but maybe they're not great managers. And they need some help there. And I think that if the people they report to can sort of help them in a way that is non-threatening to them, that they can receive information from their team in a non-threatening way. And I think that there's some coaching there that can happen. But also, one of the most successful projects that I worked on actually made the communication between managers and their employees, and the successful nature of that based on reviews and things like that. They actually made it part of their comp plan. So they actually put in there, you know, a part about, you know, having meetings with their team, communicating with their team, making sure that people were abreast of company goings on and things. I also really like, you know, videos that you can email out. Hey, here are the clients we won this week. Here are the clients we lost. Here's why we think we lost them. You know, I think when people are excluded from information, they all of a sudden start going, well, why was I excluded? Why was I excluded? And usually it's just because people don't think that people are thinking that way, but they are. So you need to make sure if it's not a sensitive topic, if it's not, you know, confidential, why not share it with your employees? The wins and the losses.
And especially if they're thinking about it, it's in the back of their mind, you know, it's going to be such a big distractor.
Totally.
When it comes to work.
And that's when that's when the chirping starts.
Yeah. And that's bad. I mean, especially in today's society, I mean, news travels so fast that you want the opposite of that gossip chirp, you know, when you're dealing with these things. Okay. So last question, and this is also a great question. Let's say you're having a bad day and you have 10 minutes before going into a client meeting. What can the individual, before going into the client meeting, do in order to quickly shake off their negative feelings so their emotions don't rub off on the clients? So how can they become more mentally prepared and more mentally authentic? Yes, to themselves.
Ready to tackle it.
Ready to tackle it.
I think it's so personal. I mean, things really work for some people and not work for others. I mean, for me, I work at such a frenzied pace that, you know, sometimes that for me, it's just shut everything off. I'll call my husband and not talk about work, but I'll call my husband because he's a calming voice in my head. And I know, let's put it this way. If this all hits the fan, you know, at work, at least I have him, right?
Yes.
So for me, it sort of centers me and reminds me of like what's important. And, you know, and that's what works for me. I think that always, always, always take a deep breath and just think, what is the worst thing that could happen? What's the absolute worst thing that could happen? And just sort of, and if you think you're going into a situation that's just not going to turn out well, number one, if you've done something wrong and you think there's even a chance that anything you've done has affected it negatively, I just say, you know what? I'm just going to say this up front. I screwed up. I screwed up.
Yeah.
Or I should have done this. I just want to get it out in the open before we have this meeting so that you know where my head is. So bring it on. Tell me what you think it could be better. You know, and I found, and I've done that a few times, and I found that people are like, oh, thank God. Oh, we were so nervous to talk to you. Or maybe there was a misunderstanding, or maybe expectations just weren't met, and maybe it's not the right, maybe that client relationship just isn't the right one for either of you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's okay.
And it brings it back to the communications.
Right.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, tell us all about your offer, the Recognition Summit. We'd love to hear about it.
Sure. So, you know, I have people ask me all the time about this sort of thing. And so I put together just a 3-hour quick and dirty, not really dirty, but quick and easy, online little workshop. We're going to have 4 to 5 speakers, and it's going to be on Wednesday, November the 6th. Tickets are up on Eventbrite. Danielle has the link. You can go to my website and click on Recognition Summit 2019. The early bird ticket is $85, and that's through September 30th. After that, it'll be $115. I'm not a big believer in charging people a fortune to hear things that are not specific to their problems.
Yeah.
I always caution people, don't spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars listening to people talk that can't help you specifically. But this is just a general, the agenda's up on the link, but we're going to talk about, you know, the building blocks for client retention, employee retention. You know, we'll have some HR updates. I'm having an HR professional come on and talk about like some of the pitfalls with employee recognition, and, you know, what to look out for in your company policies and how to set company policies for things. We're going to talk about data and how to use data to prioritize communication among your clients. And, you know, assess needs that way, and, you know, the most effective ways to do that. And then we're going to talk about a bunch of case studies. We're going to go through some case studies of some groups and businesses that, in my opinion, are doing some really cool things. And I think it's going to be a fun time. It's online. So if you buy a ticket, you'll get access to it. If you want to watch it later, you'll get the recording. That's that.
That's wonderful. And Lauren is going to be tagged to this Facebook Live. She's also going to be on YouTube within the 2-part series. You can always find her on her website, www.laurenfaby, that's Faby.com, or email her at lauren@laurenfaby.com. Thank you so much. Very easy. Too easy. Just kidding. Thank you so much, Lauren, for being a part of this live today and giving so much time and value to my audience.
Oh, thank you so much. I hope everyone enjoyed it, and call me anytime. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Lauren.
All right, bye.